Alright everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you can probably tell by the case on the table, we have another one of my firearms from my collection here that we're going to be looking over today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and open this thing up. We have none other than the M91 Mosin Nagant. This particular model was built in 1942, and I acquired it about a month ago now, almost, for right around 350 bucks. To start off, before we talk a little bit more about how I got this, why I got it, and what I like about it, what I dislike about it, let's go ahead and talk about a little bit of the history of the Mosin Nagant. The Mosin Nagant was developed in between 1882 and 1891 by Sergei Ivanovich Mosin and a Belgian man by the name of Leon Nagant. That's where the name Mosin Nagant comes from. And this being an M9130, the 91 relates to when it was invented in 1891, when it was completed in 1891, and 30 has something to do with probably 1930 or something like that, or 30 caliber, something like that. I'm honestly not too sure about that right now, but maybe some people in the comments can tell me. Used in many different wars, the Mosin Nagant was. One of the first major wars it was used in was, of course, the Russo-Japanese War. It was the Russian Empire versus the Japanese Empire. World War I, which was the Russian Empire versus the German Empire. Also used in the Russian Civil War, and that was used against, on both sides, the Reds and the Whites fighting each other. That was, the White Army was the ones who were loyal to the throne, and the Red Army was, of course, the ones who were the Leninists and the Communists who were overthrowing the Russian Empire at the time. And of course they won in the end, and that's how the Soviet Union came about. In 1917. They were also used very heavily in World War II, and probably even quite a few of them into the Korean War and Vietnam as well, and even later than that. And they're actually still being used today in the Russian invasion of Ukraine by a lot of the Donbass guerrilla fighters and stuff like that. Okay, so the Mosin Nagant was used by plenty, and I mean plenty, of different famous people and snipers throughout the years and years this thing's been in service. One of the most famous, of course, was the White Death of Finland during World War II and the Winter War. He was a Finnish sniper by the name of Simon Hayhas. I don't know, I don't want to butcher his last name, but Simon something like that. But anyways, I don't know how, I'm not too sure how to pronounce it, honestly, but he was the greatest sniper who ever used a Mosin Nagant, pretty much. With right around 500 confirmed kills. Another famous user of the Mosin Nagant was a Soviet sniper by the name of Lyudmila Pavlichenko, and she got around a little over 300 confirmed kills with a Mosin Nagant, just like this. Going back to the style of the model of the gun, there's a few different variants of the Mosin Nagant. These are made by various countries, of course, Russia being the most common place that these were produced. A lot of them were made in Finland as well. There's Finnish variants, and there's a lot of them made in Poland and a few other countries for that matter too. But most of the Mosin Nagants you're going to come across are made in either the Soviet Union, Finland, or the Polish variants. At least those are the most common. And there's different types. Like this is the M9130. There's also M44s, M39s. I think there's like M39 or M38, something like that. And those are like more shorter carbine models with folding bayonets on them. And going back to the the style, and I mean not the style, the features of this one here. Like I said earlier, it's a 1942 M9130. You look real close there, you can see there's the date, 1942. Little hammer and sickle up there, some serial numbers and stuff. There's another one there on the bolt. And one of the other things, I got this separately here, this bayonet. It does not go on all the way, unfortunately. I need to, that's about the closest it's gotten there. I need to do some work on this thing, but it's supposed to go all the way down. You turn it over, and then it's kind of gets down there on the side. So it should be on there like something more like that, you know what I mean? But yeah. It's a little tight, so I'm like working on filing and sanding down the inside of the bayonet lug to get it to fit better. But the full length of this thing is insane. They're usually sighted in for when you do have the bayonet on it. We're going to get this to the range here soon, hopefully, and shoot this. So you unfortunately probably won't get to see any footage of it shooting in this video, but hopefully sooner rather than later, you'll be able to see this thing shooting. Go ahead and open the bolt up here. Nice smooth bolt. As you can see, it's very clean inside. Even though it's, you know, it's pretty rough on the outside, it's got a nice clean inside. Everything seems to function pretty well on it. Very nice. Will not point this at anything or anyone. Yeah. Really like how that bolt feels. The sling here, this is, I don't think it's original because it's not from 1942, it's from 1954 on there. You guys can kind of see the date. And let me mention this real quick. I apologize for any wind noise. We got to film this outside for good lighting and good scenery, good backdrop and whatnot. So, and it's kind of windy today, so I do apologize for that. Anyways, cleaning rod. You got your cleaning rod with it, and this just kind of unscrews here. You put a swab on the end of it, and they have a cleaning kit that comes with this, and they give you things that you clean it with and whatnot. You probably have a little thing to extend it with, and you put a little swab on there, little cloth kind of material to run down the bore and clean it after you've been shooting it a bit. And of course, this is smokeless powder this thing uses, so it doesn't get that dirty, but you know, it's always good to keep your guns cleaned and maintained well. I've already cleaned this thing quite a bit and oiled the bolt and other components of it, kind of disassembled it a bit. And then on the bottom of the magazine here, I guess you call it. Come on. There we go. Right there's your spring that pushes the bullets up into it. It's also your secret way to load it. You could take your ammunition and just set it down in there if you wanted to. That's kind of a big meme sort of thing. Secret way to load your Mosin. I've seen a few videos of it anyways. But yeah, there it is. M9130 from 1942. Pretty sweet. I've been wanting one of these for a long time. It's still one of the, even though the price has gone up a lot, it's still one of the cheaper military surplus rifles you can find out there. Even though it was worth about $100 20 years ago, and it's like $500 now, you can still get some decent deals on them. Like I got this for $350, which is not that bad for as clean as it is inside, as good as the rifling is and whatnot, and for having a sling on it and the cleaning rod with it. I think that was getting a $350 was a decent deal, to say the least. And of course, I haven't even mentioned this yet. This is of course chambered in 7.62 by 54R ammunition. Maybe you guys can read that there. It's kind of roughly about 30 caliber, 32 caliber, something like that. Very similar to the American 308 cartridge. And I've actually seen people shoot 308s through their Mosins before, but I wouldn't recommend doing that. I don't think it's the best thing. And with that, I guess that kind of wraps up our video here. Expect a range shooting video of this thing soon, as well as some of my other rifles. Like I said again, even though I hate to leave our beautiful little homestead out here that my family's lived on since 1972. We live within city limits of Columbus, Ohio, and if you guys look at the back of the yard there's a golf course back there, so you know we can't really test fire things in our yard here. But when we get out in the country, I'm going to set up a little safe backyard shooting range and hopefully be able to test these things right in my backyard, but only time's going to tell when that'll happen. Yeah, and I'll do a more in-depth video about what's going on with the move and whatnot. But I hope you guys like this video about the Mosin Nagant that I got here. I'll probably remaster and redo all these videos in the future as I learn more information about these weapons, and as I get more, as my collection grows and things like that. But oh yeah, one more thing, another thing I want to mention before we go ahead and wrap the video up completely. Things I like about the Mosin Nagant. I guess I already kind of mentioned that. It's still one of the cheaper military surplus rifles you can find compared to like Springfields and M1 Grands and stuff like that, and Mausers. The bolts on these things usually tend to be pretty smooth and pretty easy to operate. They're not too hard to clean. They're not too hard to disassemble. They have a great look to them. They're easy to find. They're fairly easy to find ammunition for compared to some other military surplus rifles. The ammunition is not that expensive. The history that comes along with these things is just truly amazing, and the people who use them. The things that I don't like about the Mosin are really not much at all, really. I think I pretty well like everything about the Mosin Nagant, other than maybe that it's sighted in to have the bayonet. It's sighted in with the bayonet on it. So when you're shooting it without the bayonet, like I tend to do, the accuracy isn't perfect, but it's still pretty good. You know, if you're doing close range, it should be fine. And hopefully I can get this bayonet on there in the future, nice and easy. But yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to like and subscribe. Feel free to check out my other YouTube channels. They're linked in this channel's About page. And I will see you guys in the next video.